The greatest gift my father ever taught me was to trust in God above all else and to love your neighbors as yourself. The second was how to solve problems. See, he would say, Jed, for every problem, there's always a solution. You just have to look hard enough. And he would say, if something's broken, don't wait for someone else to fix it. You fix it. So after a lifetime of seeing problems in the healthcare system, I'm here to try to fix it. So what are the problems? That's a good question. And I think to answer it, I need to start with my own story. As a kid, I had a variety of health problems. When I was younger, I was identified as having a learning disability. I struggled with simple things like reading, math. In addition to learning problems, I had unexplained sicknesses, I suffered from allergies, I had idiopathic skin issues, and I had some other symptoms that just seemed to come and go. I always thought something was off, but I could never just put my finger on it. Neither could the doctors. My parents got responses like, he's just a kid and kids go through things and changes. It's nothing really to worry about. See, it wasn't until years later that we actually discovered there was a mold issue in my home, specifically in my bedroom. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I understood how much mold can negatively impact your health, especially at a neurological level, a hormonal level, and in the inflammatory pathways within the body. See, another problem after that arose, though, in 2012. It started with a missions trip, first to Haiti and then Zambia. When I was returning home, I ate some contaminated food at the airport. And I'll spare you the details, but let's just say I became one of the best friends with the Delta Airlines onboard lavatory. Now, this is where the issue really started, but it's certainly not where it finished. See, my symptoms remained long after I returned home. And when I went to the doctors, they ended up doing some tests, and the tests came back negative. I was then passed on to the infectious disease specialist over at the Ottawa General, where I waited for months to get an initial appointment. Once I finally got in, they did more tests, where I found out the results were negative. I should give the doctor some credit here, though, because even though the tests were negative, she did prescribe a drug called Flagyl. See, she figured I had Giardia lamblia, a parasitic protozoan infection common in both Haiti and Zambia. The problem is that my symptoms remained. The other problem is that the longer I waited, the more I realized my symptoms correlated more closely with a helminth parasitic infection, like a hookworm or a roundworm. Both are common in Haiti and Zambia, and both are difficult to spot in tests due to the fact that they have intermittent egg shedding. I kept bringing this up, but I kept getting the same response. Well, if you had one of these infections, they would show up at your blood work or on your stool tests. Most parasitic drugs, they only kill the adult worms, not the eggs themselves. Therefore, you need multiple treatments, the first round to kill the adult worm, the second round to kill the larva before they can lay more eggs. Otherwise, you'll just keep getting reinfected. So I kept bringing this up, but I kept getting the same responses. Well, a parasitic infection, it should show up in the blood work or in your stool tests. But they never did. So they never treated it. But I kept asking. So finally, I think in an attempt to probably silence me, she gave me some more Flagyl. Well, that was effective. Maybe not at treating my symptoms, but definitely at silencing me. After that, I was done. That round killed any remaining healthy flora I had in my system, and by this time, I felt even worse than I did at the beginning. So honestly, I was just done. I was done with having conversations that didn't go anywhere, and I was just done with not feeling like I was being heard. But I will say this, if I'm really being honest, it wasn't entirely their fault. Ultimately, I was responsible for how I responded to my health problems. And at that time, I just didn't respond very well. I was so focused on my physical health that I started to neglect my psychological health. And I found myself slipping into a depression. I started to lose hope. Next, I started to neglect my emotional health. I became less social, and I intentionally isolated. I constantly reinforced a very dangerous narrative to myself. I felt like no one really understood how I felt, which ultimately is a lie. See, the more I focused on my health, the worse I felt. The worse I felt, the more depressed I became. The more depressed I became, the less social I became. The less social I became, the more isolated I became. The more isolated I became, well, the more selfish I became. And the more selfish I became, the more focused on my health I became. Do you see the loop I was stuck in? Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, how did it all get resolved, Jed? Well, remember that greatest gift I told you that my dad gave me? Trust in God and love others. Well, here's what I didn't let go of during all that time. It was my spiritual health. Doesn't mean I didn't wrestle with God, and it certainly doesn't justify my own bad behavior. I kept asking God, why is this happening? And he kept saying to me, Jed, trust me. Take your eyes off yourself. Both are frustrating answers. But it worked. Now, it didn't mean that my symptoms just totally disappeared, but they certainly did improve. And as I reflect now, even though it was a difficult time, it taught me some really important lessons. First, it taught me to be more empathetic, especially toward people who are sick. Second, it taught me the importance of full-faceted health. Third, it taught me to be more grateful, and it taught me to help more people. Fourth and final is that it taught me that mainstream medicine doesn't always have all the answers. Sometimes it dismisses things it can't fully understand.